So I would like to call to order the Board of Health meetings for Monday, November 18th. We're starting a little late, excuse our tardiness. It is now 5:05 p.m. As we have Mr. Webby present, we're going to invite him to the table and I would like to skip over and address this variance request.
Joe Webby, Webby Engineering, and this is a septic upgrade at 2 Montclair. And we don't have a lot of room in the back of the yard. It's a very small lot. And in order to get your 800 square feet, we need a variance or a waiver from either your local regulations so that we can keep the SAS 10.5 feet from the property line instead of 15. If you'd rather, then we could move it closer, 5 feet closer to the foundation, but then we would have to ask for the waiver from 20 feet to 15. So it's kind of, those were the two things that we had.
Do we know where the neighboring property's septic lies? By any chance?
Yeah, his septic is way in the back of the house.
Okay,
Yeah, it's not right there.
that's a,
And, yeah, we have no other room. There's a big barn. Front, there's water on this side and gas on that side. It's really the best spot for the septic.
Is there any elevation to your land to the neighbors?
It's gonna be very close. We're gonna be about a foot higher than them. So we need that 10 feet, or at least 10
Mhm.
feet.
it's a new septic and it's a water line.
Right.
I think going to the property line is a better option than going to the house.
I agree with you. I agree with the engineer.
Yeah, I mean, it
Yeah.
just makes more sense.
It does, yeah. I mean, this meets Title V. I know that's not Kingston. But
Mhm.
this
We're a
is-
little bit stricter.
yeah, yeah, but it's not that bad. You guys are pretty good.
That's a reasonable request.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it.
Make a,
So move.
should be in the.
In Joe's. I guess.
No, it should be in that.
So I'm just gonna pass the variance request to get you guys to sign it. Well, you guys are gonna make a motion, right? Somebody does.
Went around to Dennis, I think. Do you want to make a motion?
Go ahead, Dennis. I move to grant the variance requested.
I'll second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a nice evening.
You also have a good
All
Thanksgiving.
right, I'll see you
I may
next.
see you.
Yeah, I'll see you next week. Do your
Thank you.
first.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good day, Joe.
This makes sense. Okay, do we have the bills going around?
Those in Joe.
Yeah, Bill.
Bill.
Oh, they're out.
The red one.
No, that's Bill's fault. You get the bills
The
over
bills
here?
look different now. You changed them?
No, we didn't. It's Munis. This is the bills.
Okay.
They look weird, but that's the
Oh,
bills.
they
Yeah,
were
yeah,
different.
the account
Yeah.
system.
So this is your stuff.
So we can just sign anywhere? If we
The
have to.
actual invoice.
Oh, there it
on
is.
the back. Okay, well, we're passing those bills around. If everybody could review the meeting minutes from October 21st and November 4th, if they have not done so previous to the meeting.
Do you want us to sign this?
I don't care. I don't
We
think
don't
you
have
guys
to.
ever sign it. Do you just
No, I
look
don't
at
think
it?
That's my mistake.
Just pass them around.
Take a look.
First.
I
Okay,
was
I
gonna
lied.
say, yeah,
So not
October.
November 4th, we're just gonna look at the 21st of October for meeting minutes.
Sorry, I think I was thinking of the last meeting that we didn't have.
Yes, that was supposed to be the second.
Move to accept the minutes of October 21st as presented. Excuse me. Is that right?
Yeah, that's all right,
Yeah.
Eddie, first.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sorry about that.
No worries. Joyce, you're up.
Okey dokey. So, nothing great to report in the sense of a lot of, we haven't been doing a lot of inspections, for septic. I have one actively and one that just closed out. We do have an upcoming two perks within the next week and a half. I imagine that most of it will start to slow down this time of year. Lori and I just got back from the MHOA conference, which was pretty interesting. We got some guidance on hoarding. I attended the hoarding symposium. That was pretty good. So just clear, to help clarify like what legally we can and can't do, for like condemnations and that kind of thing. So we went to a variety of different, types of, workshops. So I did some stuff on septic, clear water litigation, and Lori attended a couple of open meeting and, public hearing stuff. So overall, it was good. I'm glad we went. It was good for Lori to get out and meet people and see, what it's all about, and also get some useful help with things like open meeting law and also, dealing with the media and that kind of stuff. So,
Excellent.
I do have one, possible condemnation on the horizon at Wapping, 127 Wapping. There's some issues going on that street, so I went out with fire today at their request.
Was there a big fire on that?
No, it was Mr. Priolo's, I hope I'm saying his name correctly, his brand new garage is gone, it's burned to the ground.
Oh, what a shame.
Yeah,
Nobody was hurt though.
nope,
Okay.
no, I just feel horrible for the
I do
person.
too. That they just.
Yeah, he was supposed to, I guess the electrician was going in to do, but, it has something to do with the fire. They were gonna complete wiring, because there was no power to the, building, is my understanding, so, yeah. But I will let you guys know as that moves forward.
There's nowhere to sign on those.
Yeah, you don't have to sign, it's Munis, it's the new way that we're required to do the bills. So it's really just printed out for you guys to review to see what we're paying
review.
out.
Okay.
Everything has to be through that now, so,
Joey is coming.
okay. I have a feeling this is
This
him
might be him.
clunking down the. Oh. So really, that's pretty much it. I have a potential candidate for a nurse's position. I happened to come into knowledge of this person at the MHOA conference. Recent Masters of Public Health degree, already an RN, lives in Plymouth, so we're communicating via LinkedIn, so hopefully I will, make contact with her by the end of the week and have her come in if she's interested, come in. So that's where we're at. We no longer have a public health nurse. I can't remember if that was at the last meeting or not, if I told you that, but for the grant, there is no more public health nurse at this time. So we will be upping the employment notice through the grant for that position. So we'll see what happens with that. But I'm guessing much like mine, we're not getting a lot of hits. So
Although the grant pays better than we do.
not by much.
No.
No. So, yep, there's that. I have picked up business cards for Janet. I've made arrangements to, get IDs made through the fire department. I'm also, in talks with the fire department. They're gonna put on, as part of the grant, we're spending money down, using educational purposes, so I'm gonna try and do CPR training and use the fire guys to do it. So that will probably be coming after the first of the year, just because it seems silly to try and plan it before the first of the year. We completed Alice training That was the end of, not last week, but the week before, the end of the week, we did an Alice training with the
For the
PD.
building.
Yep, and I feel like we have one
Is
other.
everybody familiar with what Alice training is?
I thought we did the.
No, I'm sorry,
We
we
did the
did the
fire
fire extinguisher training.
Oh.
We're doing Alice, what is it, this week or next
Next
week?
week.
Next week.
Okay,
So we'll complete that. It's just the safe, basically
Safety.
knowing how and when to get out of the building should a situation arise and it becomes unsafe. And so we will complete that. Sorry, there's like a litany of emails and I'm losing track of what things I've done. So yeah, that will be next week.
I feel like Cheryl and I are pretty familiar with what the
Yeah.
Alice
Yeah.
drills are,
Yeah.
just because the schools
Yeah.
learn them all the time. I wasn't sure if people outside of school age people would understand what an Alice drill was, just for the lingo purpose.
Yeah.
But it's an armed intruder
Yeah.
threatening harm to people within a building, and one of our public buildings.
And what we can do, like
and
safe
how to-
options.
Yeah.
So I'll let you know once we complete it, but that's pretty much all I have at this point.
Okay. Did everybody have a chance to review any of the regulations that Lori so kindly sent us home with last time?
And you guys you had Wells, body art, and there was one more, wasn't there?
Tobacco.
Tobacco.
And you had the farm in there, but that was pretty
We felt like
recent.
the farm was so
Yeah.
recent that
Yeah.
we just had to read it and make sure nothing had changed.
Oh, I will be going to court right after Thanksgiving for,
The tobacco.
the tobacco.
Okay.
Yep, so I've enlisted Cheryl Sabara, who's the attorney for Mass Health Officers Association. She's very involved with the tobacco compliance portion of MHOA, so she'll be attending court with me, which is nice.
And who has the interpreter coming? The courts for him?
Yes, and my understanding is that the clerk, I don't remember why I know this, but somebody said the clerk that is no longer even with the company. So we'll see what happens on that. But we are
Still the responsibility of
of the owner,
the
not
owner.
the clerk.
Right,
The,
exactly.
the offense is racked up against the establishment.
Right,
not
and
against
that's the
seller.
owner's responsibility, and that's my argument in court. And so now we are faced with the issue, if these fines do not get paid, we should not be issuing permits, because they're not in compliance.
If they
Plus, they
don't,
owe money for violations, failure to correct violations, food violations.
You know, they correct.
there he is.
Hey,
We were worried about you.
I know.
Funeral, I'm sorry.
Oh.
That's okay. Sorry to hear that.
Hi,
Here you go, Joe.
thanks, Joyce.
If the fine isn't paid, they have to pull they can't sell tobacco anymore. They have to pull the products out of the store, right?
So how that bridge will get crossed when we go to court, because my understanding is the new legislation says we have no parameters to adjust or alter any fines, period. So he has to pay them. My understanding with this department is if you have not paid your fines, you don't get a new renewed permit. And not only do they owe fines for tobacco, they also owe fines for I think it's up to 6 re-inspections now that they have not corrected. So it's a huge issue.
Which establishment is this?
Quick Mart on Summer Street.
And have they complied with any of the fines?
No, they've paid nothing.
But have they
And they have
fixed
not
anything that was
corrected
wrong? No.
the violations. So I figured let's deal with the tobacco in 2 weeks and then we can go forward from there because it's permit time, so. And letters were sent out explaining to everybody as well as in Don Albright's new newsletter that all businesses must be compliant with, have all their fines paid up before we'll issue new permits, So that's already gone out. Letters have gone out to all business owners.
Do we have a power to revoke a permit for non-payment of fines?
Yeah, it's non-compliance with the parameters of the permit.
And they are aware of that?
Oh, I'm quite certain they're aware of it.
Well, I need to put some teeth in that regulation.
Well, like I said, I want to get through the tobacco hearing because that's like $7,500 worth of fines. And then we can move forward on the other ones. So that's all I got. And you guys were talking about if you had any comments, questions, issues you think need to be addressed in the 4 bylaws that we gave. So everybody says the farm one's fine, correct?
The farm one looks good to me.
Okay,
The tattoo and body piercing one,
yep. It's a lot.
it's a lot, there's a lot of
Language,
language and typos and
yes,
it needs some tuning up.
okay.
Like I went through it
Mhm.
and colored,
Good.
so, I don't, if everybody didn't have the chance to go through it, I think it would behoove us to have it either retyped up or spell checked and make sure all the spaces are in. That was a lot of it. I'm not sure if it was like a copy and paste and just didn't copy over.
Yeah, I
nicely.
think
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff is pre-us, so we
Yeah.
don't know how
Yeah,
it
yeah.
came to
Yeah.
fruition.
I think a lot of it was more the spacing.
It was a lot of
Yeah.
spacing. But I still consider that a typo.
Yes.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Doesn't look good.
I mean, words were spelled correctly, so that was
Yeah,
good. Other than that, I thought I'm not up to the standards. I don't know the current standards for piercing, tattoos, branding, and
Yeah.
everything else that was encompassed in that.
What I'll do is start pulling other people's, other
yeah,
towns.
that's a good idea.
So we can kind of compare and make sure that we're on the same page as at least the local towns around us. I think
Right,
that's
'cause-
kind of important.
Yeah, I think state board regulations change frequently too, so.
I feel like we might know a
Yeah.
little more about this one, Cheryl.
So, yeah, I feel like we can probably see what the other towns, I know Plymouth has a lot of, we don't have a lot, I think we just have one
We only have,
Ear
we're only
piercing is
licensing
the-
one.
stinky monkey.
Yep.
Yeah,
that-
that's it.
Yeah, and I know Plymouth has a lot, so maybe we could look at theirs being so close to us.
I've always voted against it, so
Well,
tattoo policy.
it's the way of the world now, Bill.
Freedom. It's your body.
The hell doesn't half the people know anything about the world? I've seen people go in there with their little kids carrying them, so I voted against that every time we had it here.
There's a state law, they can't be tattooing.
I know, but I
kids.
can do what I want. I voted against it.
Oh, no, but I'm saying they can't tattoo little kids.
I know, but it used to aggravate me seeing them bringing them in there.
Okay,
The
well,
way this regulation reads, you can tattoo a little kid, just not their genitalia.
yeah,
with
so we
permission,
probably need
yeah.
to have you guys look at it and decide what you want to put in.
Okay.
I know that most, every town has their regs accessible. So you guys will look at the body art one.
Mhm.
and figure out what you want to add or take away. Tobacco, that seems
Yeah.
pretty cut and dry, it follows state reg.
Right,
Yeah, unless we wanna go bigger.
I think we're gonna want to go much bigger than they are.
yeah, they're pretty,
You got that, that's pretty good.
they go big.
And then, well, the only thing I would suggest is I can do a working meeting with a couple of the local well guys to kind of bring up to standard what the current practices are, because, I was talking with one of the well guys, and some of the things we have in there are not considered best practices anymore.
Mhm.
So maybe looking at how we can
Include
just
best,
update,
Yeah.
just update
current
it.
best practices
Yeah.
in our most updated regulation.
Cause who knows when this was drafted too, right? This one doesn't
That
have a
one,
date.
I thought was from the 90s. If
This
I
one?
remember right, it had mark on it from the 90s.
I don't see it.
Makes it 30 years old.
Yeah,
As we go through these, like the soil evaluator regulations, all in capitals.
What?
Yeah, it's literally typed out all caps.
Yes.
So if we have to retype them anyways, I'm sorry, Lori. Could we maybe knock
make it
you off?
grammatically
I
correct.
can do
Which
that.
one was that in? I don't think I got that one.
It's in the septic stuff.
Oh, it is, okay.
Yeah.
It's
You can
inside that.
use Word and you can put everything lowercase and just, so there's just a few caps you can put back in. Before to retype the entire thing.
It doesn't work like that.
Well, yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean that we have it in a Word document either. These were done well before people were putting stuff on the
Some
computer.
of these are slightly antiquated.
Oh. You still look play tablets with the beautiful button.
All right, so we'll just look at tobacco and farm right now to make sure they're grammatically correct.
Farm looks good.
Yeah, I'm saying, so you guys pretty much just did that, so
Right.
that should be good. Tobacco, we'll just look it over if there's anything that needs to be tweaked on that, but it also needs to be put into Word documents so that it's saved in our Board of Health drive as well as printed out and given to the clerk's office so they can, have a
And then we
copy
can
of
have
it.
it accessible on the website too,
Mhm,
which is
yes.
ideal for people
Right.
looking to answer questions.
Right.
So I would say let's focus on the ones I've given so far. We'll get those right, and then we can move on to something else versus keep handing things out, and then it's
I
just
think
gonna
that's a
get
good-
lost.
Great idea.
Okay, great.
I just had one question on the private haulers. Are these the fines that we voted on? I couldn't remember, or is there, any changes to the violations that are in this?
That I don't have it in front of me, so I don't,
Okay.
and I didn't think, was that,
The penalties?
no, but I didn't think we gave that one out. Did you just print out a bunch of them, or?
No, this was the one that was handed. Regulations for private
More
haulers.
than they needed.
Oh, okay, so hold off. on
Oh,
that
okay.
one.
I figured we missed a week, so I was like, let me
No.
take care of this.
No, that's good. It's
Okay.
good that you're reading it, but my guess is, what does it say for fines?
First violation is 100, second is 200, and third is 500.
For non-compliance with
Yeah, anybody in
Quarterly
I see
violation.
this one.
Yes, that's the well.
with
Yeah.
quarterly reporting, correct?
Any contractor, firm, or person who violates these regulations may be subject to revocation of permit and or a fine.
Yeah, we'll look at them, but my guess is it's the same thing we already just reiterated.
Right. I thought we were upping the fines for them in that discussion, just for future when we go through that. But that was the amount.
As far as I remember,
Yeah.
yeah, 100 for the first time, then it went up from there.
And I can erase that. Okay.
Okay, well, that's all I have for the regulations.
How about the jaw waste service permit?
Oh, yeah, so we, not get a hold of anybody, no address worked. Nobody could tell you where the main business is, so I made a call and I said, well, I need to speak to whoever's in charge because we're revoking their permit. It was amazing.
Okay.
I was able to get in touch with the person in charge, like instantaneously. And so within, a few hours, we had all the quarterly reporting. And I believe the fine has been paid, correct?
No, not yet.
Not yet, but the fine will be being paid. So we told them that, as of now, the permit is revoked. We had sent out the certified letter, the whole 9 yards. So, that we would be discussing it. But I do think it's important at this stage, given how much time and effort it has taken to do this, that going forward, any further issues with this company is an automatic revocation, and they have to come in front of the board to decide whether we'll re-permit them, because this has been ongoing since I started, so we're approaching 1.5 years.
Do we have any such thing as a provisional? Where you attach that language, if there's another non-compliant, it's automatic revocation.
we just find them,
Yeah,
and so, but they're not complying
trying
with
to get it
DEP
reinstated.
regulations.
yeah.
So you know, you're not complying with state regulations. This isn't like, oh, you forgot to turn your permitting stuff in. I don't know, I'll leave it to your discretion, but I feel like there needs to be some teeth to this. Or we're just gonna be going around and around again, and I cannot stress enough how much time this takes to contact people, email people, find the correct addresses to send the stuff to, because half of it isn't right. It is a time suck on the department, when all they gotta do is once every 3 months, send us how much trash they hauled and how much recycling they hauled, which they're required to keep record of for DEP, and they are supposed to turn it into us. So, you know. You're the board,
Back to the wells for a minute.
okay,
One of the drillers telling you that they have issues with, I'm just.
no,
looking
not
at these-
issues, but like, it used to be that you put stainless casings, and now, they're talking about, hard plastic, because the stainless apparently can pit. There's just some things that have been upgraded, but I just said that I would have a working conversation with them to discuss what they think the best, feel like best practices are as far as, above grade, and get some ideas, and then bring them back to you guys to make those decisions.
Well, okay, so the steel pipe's an issue. Well,
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say it was a ton of stuff, but
no.
probably should be looked at to bring up to current day.
Mm,
Just while we're going through all these regulations.
I mean, it could be,
Yeah, I
it
get
could be
that.
very minor too.
It's just, you're gonna be drilling wells now to get building permits.
Oh, I know, but that's why I'd rather do this now than wait till we get, 8,000 different well permits that we have to go through and worry about people not doing things correctly. So if it's, upgraded and current day, then there should be no ifs, ands, or buts how it gets done.
Well, the only problem with plastic casing is that it can crack versus the steel casing.
Right, like you said, I said to have a working conversation with them to find
Machine
out.
gets too close to it
Right.
Mhm.
and you
Yeah.
have a fracture in the pipe. And you can't get the pump out, you've lost the well.
Right,
It's that simple. So
right.
whereas with the steel casing, it's harder to damage it. It's more.
And it may
durable.
be that, I know there's two different kinds of wells, so it may also relate to what they're actually drilling into.
Well, once they hit the
what's-
rock, they split this, the casing goes down, you seal it to the rock, and then from there, the rock is the well.
Right, no, I understand that, but, just talking to a couple of the well guys, they were just commenting on how there's just differences depending on what the topography is, the geology is.
Well, if all they're gonna do is drive a well for irrigation, then I don't necessarily have any concerns
Right.
as to what they do, but because the pump's not gonna be in the well or anything like that, but these are gonna be drinking water wells, and they're gonna have to be drilled down into the rock to get the quality of water and the fluid that you're gonna
Right.
need to support the dwelling. And in order to do that, I think that we should stick with some of this stuff, but if they'd like to come in and talk about it, that's fine.
I'd love to have them come in.
Yeah,
talk
and
about
once
it.
they,
I have no problem with
my
that.
thought is go over it with them step by step and say, okay, what is it that you think you would suggest changing, so that we know ahead of time?
Yeah.
Well,
And
what
then
do you
have them
drive
come
your
in
best
here.
practice?
Yeah, and have them come in and explain it, and then you guys can make a decision what you want to do with it, but at least it's been reviewed and
Right.
updated from 30 years ago.
I get that. And so far, you haven't had anybody stand across the counter and say, I can't do what I want to do.
No,
You've
no,
had nothing like that.
no, and the
okay.
guys I'm dealing with are super nice, very willing to explain stuff and go through what they're doing, and yeah,
Who do you got? West End Drilling and Jim Watt? Is that
Yep,
about it?
yeah.
Is that about it? Well, those are experienced drillers in the area. so-
Right.
Okay.
That's, was my thought is these guys got.
Yeah.
A lot of years' experience and it may have some helpful things for us to just
To know.
tweak it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Jim Ryan actually is older than me. He drilled my wells up there. in
He
Pembroke
is
Street.
hysterical. I love chatting with him. He's funny.
Oh, yeah, he's a scream. Okay, where are we on this?
You
On the
basically
agenda?
missed our whole meeting.
Yeah, that's pretty much
We're
it.
done.
Joe. We're done.
Well, then there's something that's kind of important that we should do.
Okay.
Um, we should tell you about.
Oh.
We thought we were gonna have a public health nurse in Janet Wade. We thought she was coming in to accept the position as our public health nurse. Well, she did come in and we had a meeting with her. And the position that she wants to be in is that of a consultant
Medical consultant.
to the Board of Health,
Oh,
unpaid, which does not take the position of the public health nurse. Now, we, of course, were enthusiastic about any involvement
Sure.
of Janet Wade and assumed that the board would be. But that's really not a fair thing for us to do without bringing that matter to the board and asking for a vote to confirm Janet Wade as a public health medical consultant to the Board of Health. So before she's out in the community with business cards and promoting programs and things of that nature, that's why I raced right here when you told me you guys would get. I wanted to make sure this got taken care of.
I think
Yeah.
that's great.
No, I figured that you would, but I wanted to make sure that it was brought before the board and not just something that Joyce and I did. You understand?
Yeah.
So,
I have
I
to
think
say,
it's a
like,
great
I
idea.
would be thrilled to have her as a consultant because given that we don't have a current nurse, it's really helpful to me to have somebody I can call and run stuff by. I know I can call you Heidi, but
You're on the job.
in a pinch, like,
I take phone calls.
Yeah.
right.
it goes
right.
beyond that
But it
too.
would be
Yeah,
nice
no,
if she's
no.
willing to do outreach and do some educational pieces, and I think that would,
I think it's a
Be super
win-win on
helpful.
both
Oh,
sides.
absolutely.
absolutely.
Because we
Hey, the
all
more-
know that Janet enjoys to be part of our team
Yes.
Mhm.
and part of the town and likes to be able to contribute to the town. And we do have such a lack right now
Mhm.
that I think it would be amazing of her to even make this offer to do it voluntarily,
Yeah.
Right.
to
Yeah.
support us this way.
She won't take the money because she considers the wage to be an insult to the profession.
I agree with that.
Accordingly, I'm just telling you what she said.
I've said it,
She was-
Janet and I have been on this
Yeah,
soapbox.
she was
since
very
the beginning.
adamant about that. She just wants to do this.
Yeah, she wants to go to the library and have.
Yeah.
programs
Oh,
for
that's
the
great.
kids,
Yep.
Senior center and have programs for those.
That's great.
She wants to do things like that, just gonna do nothing but promote this department, this board. I don't see any downside whatsoever, and I'm sure you don't either, but
Mhm.
I wanted to make sure it was brought before you, you knew about it, and you got to vote on it, that's all.
I think That's would be a wonderful addition.
Silent one, you could even make a motion if you wanted to.
Yeah, Janet,
Yes,
I make a motion that we can't say hire because we're not.
No, we
paying her.
said, we
accept
sent, we
her
sent her an
offer.
offer to be a volunteer,
Volunteer.
Medical
a
consultant.
medical consultant to the
For the
Board of Health.
And I would like to be the second on that, please.
you sure can. We have a team motion with Dennis and Bill, and then we have a second by Heidi.
We'll give it to Bill,
Okay, give it to Bill.
seniority.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Will you
Great.
vote on that one?
Yes. of
Oh,
course.
good. We had some other things earlier.
Motion to adjourn if we have no other business.
Can I just ask a question before you do that?
Of course.
Was there anything else that I missed that,
Mr. Webby came in.
Joe was here?
Yeah,
I,
it's a 5-foot variance for a property line for a septic. There is nowhere else to put it. It was reasonable.
it was reasonable, and we took him first because I know that's how this board likes to operate.
Yes, I love to operate that way.
Yep, let's get these people who
Need to get.
need
this
to
stuff
get
done.
their stuff done in and out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Move to adjourn.
Next meeting,
The
December.
December 2nd.
December
Coming quick.
2nd.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
Everyone have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Seconded.
Second.
Second, Cheryl.
Give it to Cheryl. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.